We are live and we are recording. Hi everybody and welcome to our second Facebook Live session where we try to educate you and share with you new devices, how they are used in the best possible way and where you can ask questions. Now today I'm all alone, so I will be manning my switchboard here, my slideshow and the PMF device, so be patient with me. And we also try to answer your questions. So as we work through this, if you go to Truly Heal Now at Facebook and you would open up the slide videos, then you would see the latest video that is streaming right now. And that's where we would like to share with you this new discovery, this new device that you can use either at home as a home device or as a clinic device. Now, I will answer questions about the PMF device at the end of the session and will rather focus now on my questions that many of you have already posted. What are the main 4 effects of PMF that I can use and which treat more or less all diseases? This is one of the problems that we always have. People ask me questions, how do I treat glaucoma? How do I treat cancer? Is it good for osteoporosis, arthritis? How do I use it for different diseases? But there's actually only 4 main effects that PMF has, so we will cover them. Then we look at one of those effects, PEMF for detox. And that is phenomenal. There is so much research that it enhances detoxification, so I will clarify that. And then oscillating versus ringer, which is one of those repeated questions that I will address too. Now, as we work through the program, I have here my switchboard. Oh, I forgot. We have one other thing. At the end of the presentation, I'll have you a coupon code. And this is very standard. We don't have a shop, we don't have reps, we don't have presentation room. We rather give that discount to you for being educated. So if you go through the PMF expert training, if you attend our PMF live webinar training, if you attend our Facebook live training, always at the end of the training you get a discount coupon, and that allows you to purchase with a 10% discount. And that's how we make you a better deal and save ourselves a lot of time and effort by repeating the same answers again and again. So if you have questions about PMF, check out either of those 3, the PMF expert training, the PMF webinar, or this Facebook live recording, and that will give you at the end the coupon code. All right, now let's look at the device first, and I'm switching here close to it so that you can see it on the screen. This is the latest model, and it's like the DCM 3990, just 2 devices at one, and I can turn it on. And you will see it checks through, and there is only one applicator connected, and that is my loop that I would like to introduce first. So if I use the loop, this is something I can use in many different forms. It's actually the main applicator that I use all the time. I can use it for head treatment, for facial treatment, for crown treatment, glaucoma, whatever you have, Alzheimer, Parkinson's, everything can be treated in that form. You can use it around your neck for absorption of oxygen, lung, thyroid, thymus, all of those. You can put it on your belly and treat your gut. You can treat your liver. You can treat everything individually. And this is because of a very high quality copper coil inside, a very powerful treatment that on its own would work. Now the device in itself produces 8,000 Gauss, which is like the DCM 3990, 4,000 Gauss. This one is more or less 2 times the same, so it's 7,900 something Gauss. And that is extremely powerful with one applicator. And I would like to demonstrate that very short so that you can see it. And I pull the device in, that you see what happens. I turn it on in the back. I select 5 minutes, and you can already hear in my microphone now that fast tick, and there is that loop going up here, and that would be something that I can run. And let me just zoom back in that I can show you the power. If I turn this up, you can see the speed reduces, but I have already on level 2, I have those twitches, muscle twitches. If I go to level 3, this is already very, very intense. This is a very strong pulse. And I'm actually hesitant to go to level 4 or 5 because this machine is really, really powerful, just as a big impact. So not everybody will like that. This is very, very strong. It's almost as powerful as the PMT Digital on its individual charts. So I will not leave that very long. This is more or less, if we have 2 applicators, we would like to be able to distribute that power to 2 and therefore make it a lot more pleasant. But, and this is where it becomes really important, let me go down to 1. So this would be the level that I can use around my head, around my brain. You know, level 1 is just, and this would be for eyes, this would be for ears, you know, like, we'll talk about the application and what you do. But if I use this as an individual treatment, or I would even connect my paddle, which is the highest concentration in a very low concentrated area. The loop, as you can see, is bigger and it radiates to the outside and the inside, so it's a very wide circle. This one is very concentrated in the middle. So if I would like to use it for incontinence or for prostate problems or something, I would use this paddle and would sit on it. I don't know if you can see me now. Let me just turn it to big. I would sit on it and have that pulse into my bladder, into my prostate, into the diaphragm. For females, it's always both sides. You would use it up on top, into the diaphragm, and from underneath up, so that you get always this boxing effect. And let me just pause it very short. I just press the 5 minutes again, and now we have it on pause. This thing is very powerful if you have only 1 applicator on it, which is nice for deep penetration. If you really would like to have an intense effect, the same way if you would use the butterfly, let me just switch again to close up. If you would use the butterfly, you can use that on your head. You can use it for dental treatments. You can use it double in a very effective way for your jawline. You can use it very easily for knee treatments. Yes, you can see it, my knees up here. Especially like in my age, with all my climbing and mountain climbing and hiking, I have sometimes problems in my knees, and that is for regeneration of the cartilage and anti-inflammatory, really great. Tennis elbows, or if you have elbow problems, arthritis problems, you can use it between your hands. That's how my mum used it for her broken hand that was completely smashed and shattered. So she was using it in that form in her hand, and that was very nice. Like I said, you can do shoulder treatments if you had a shoulder injury, dislocated shoulder, problems in rolling. And it's always quite nice if you do a slight gentle movement during the treatment, because it just enhances the effects and arrives from all sides. So the butterfly, the big loop, and the paddle on which I sit are standard accessory that come with the device. Now I have added here for my presentation, and because I really believe this is a great accessory, the MagPad. And I have to pull it out from this side so that you can see. The MagPad is pretty much my upper body, and I'm covering the microphone. It's pretty much my upper body. So I can do a very, very powerful treatment with this pad. Let me just pull it back here by just leaning against it. And this is really pleasant. Let me plug it in so that we know how this feels and how it works. And again, I show you individual first, because when we actually turn off the device, plug in, plug out, not like me, do it properly, then turn the device back on. And now I would say 5 minutes, and I would turn this on level 3, and it is already so strong that you can see my belly twitching. If I go this up all the way, this is a very powerful treatment for my whole back, all from the upper lung area and all the way down into my sacral. And it is extremely powerful. So this would be your main treatment while sitting in a couch potato position at your couch and work through your TV program, in your Lazy Boy, for example, and you have a whole body treatment with this device. I would not have it that strong. I would reduce it to a lower power because it is quite intense. Now, what we can do is, if we have it in such a setting, we can turn the device off. Let me just pause it, then turn it off. And now I would use my big loop, and I can plug that in as well. Let me just switch that you can see how I plug in. Put that around my neck, and now untangle the cable. It's a very sturdy, strong cable this time. You can see I just slide it in, and it clicks. So it's very easy. I had my hand in front of it. You didn't even see what I did. Okay, so now I have my big loop, and I have my pad connected in the back. I turn the device back on, and now I can either select my pad for 5 minutes and my back for 5 minutes, and they go alternate. And I can feel in the back my pulse, and I can feel it up here. And that just alternates, and if I turn this stronger, then you can see I can turn this here stronger and keep this on a low level, or vice versa. This would be also possible to treat 2 people at a separate time. Now, I love double treatment, which is called the simultaneous treatment. And if I switch to simultaneous, you can see now I put the levels up. Let me just go back here again, that you see it. I put the levels up, and they go both up. So now both smack at the same time, and I hope my microphone survives that onshot. So I have here now both at level 3, and if I lean back, I get a very big kick into my lower back and also around my neck. And if I bring that both up, you can see to level 5, this is not as intense as it was on its own. So, but it's pleasant. It's a lot more pleasant, and I can sit here, probably not at level 5. I would use it at level 3 or at level 2, and can easily do a 10-minute treatment with full body effect. All right, now I guess you understand the principle of the device. It is really easy to handle, easy to use, and you can treat different areas of the body very effectively. Let me just turn it on pause again, turn it off, take this applicator out, and I would just like to show you very short the paddle, because this is something that you will find quite intense. It is, Dr. Rau in Switzerland was using a paddle for targeted cancer treatment. Now, it doesn't say that you kill all cancer cells, certainly not, but what it would do is it would have a very sharp penetration. So if you have a local tumor, you could use this over the top. If you have bone problems, you could use it to heal the bone. So if you have a broken leg and you would like to heal that, or arm or elbow, or something like your hands, and you would like to treat them very effectively, then this is definitely a solution. So let me turn it back on. We have alternate, and now I turn the device on. I'm plugged in here, yes, and I bring this up, and if you hold this over the top, you can really feel it. It's a very sharp spike. It's not as round, not as soft, not so many ions, but therefore a very deep penetration. And if I bring this up to a high level, then you can feel that really biting into your hands, and that's how you feel how concentrated that area is. And this can be used over local areas, shoulders. You can also, now that's too strong. Wow, would use that on a lower level, on jaw. And actually where it hurts is usually an inflammation, so it's also used quite often. Papimi teaches how to use it as a diagnostic tool. I don't agree with that, because everybody hurts in their sacral area, and they always use it as a diagnostic, but there's many different ways to do that. So you can hold that everywhere, and I hope my microphone survives that. And you see my back is on the lowest setting. It's a very gentle pulse, which I can stand for a very long time. Okay, I think we've covered pretty much all. Simultaneous would switch it back again to both at the same level. So if I bring both up, they have the same intensity and the device is halved in power. Half is often quite nice. And there's one thing that I would like to explain as well. Let me just turn this off very short. The pulses, as you know, when I have them on low setting, are more often. So I get little amount of ions, let's say 50 or 50,000 or 500,000 ions shooting into the body on a very fast level. Now, if I switch it to level 5, I have, let's say, 5 million ions shot once, twice in a slower motion. So I have deeper penetration, but the end result is still the same. I get still the amount of ions into the body. And that's why the only difference why you would want to bring it up and make it more intense is when you try to make it deeper. So if you treat deep-rooted problems, deep-seated problems, liver problems, sacral, bone, that's when you want power. It's also when you do incontinence treatment and you would sit on your loop, you need to reach from down here all the way to up here for the whole area to be stimulated. And that's where you want high settings. If you use it around your neck, if you use it for general well-being, you can stay at a lower setting and still flood the body with massive amount of ions because they come more often, but not as intense and not as deep. All right? I hope you got that. And I hope we have a lot of questions afterwards. I haven't figured out where they are yet. I'll find them in a moment. So as soon as we do, then I will answer those at the end of the session. So let me just go slowly now into the main effects of PMF and what that does. So this is one of the slides that we've published a long time ago, and it really makes it all condensed into one slide. Shakes loose, and I hope you can see it. Let me just bring in the screen so that you only see the screen. Shakes loose heavy metals, clears all the ion channels, and I explain that in a moment, allows the cell to breathe, take in nutrients and oxygen and glucose, increase the nutrient uptake, increase oxygen supply, which is very important, increase detoxification, and increase ATP production. Now that's a pretty logical conclusion that all of those will help with every disease, right? And that's what we are looking at. So when we use PMF, I always say it's like my recharge station for my toothbrush, but it's for myself, for my body. So if I use PMF and I lean against my little pad here in the back and maybe have a loop up front or treat my shoulder or my elbow, then I recharge that area with energy. And this is really cool because when you look at this image down here, and let me just pull the screen in, you see those elderly ladies and gentlemen, they are in a retirement village. And when we sold the device to them, they were all coming and saying, well, we have now different problems. Instead of having the problem of aches and pains and tired and low energy, we have now the problem of parties and going out at night and all of a sudden new found adventures because the energy level went up and the healing was expedited. And this is where you find, not only with animals who love PMF treatment, it's a general treatment to recharge your body. And one of those effects that most people ignore completely is that you need a lot of energy to heal. So if you have a disease, and let's just say you have a flu, how do you feel? Wow, tired in bed. If you have an inflammation, it reduces all your power. Your body tries to mend and heal that. It costs a lot of energy, and therefore every disease you have drains your body with more and more energy. What you do here is you recharge. It's just like energy flooding into your body. And that energy happens through electroporation. Those ions, they fill and flood the body and expand every cell, pump it all up so that they can take up oxygen, they can take up nutrients. And this is the effect that you have. So it's not a healing effect, it's more a recharge effect and making your body more efficient. And all the factors that we talk about in a moment are really great. We just sold one to a horse and I had a presentation, and I'm not really a friend of horses. They're kind of big and scary and ears flat. And so we went there, and I was like turning the device on and thought the horse would kick. And when I put it, it was leaning against me and rolling eyes and leaning more and pressed me against the wall. It was really sweet. You could see the joy. And that's what you feel too. If you do the treatment, it just energizes your body. Okay, the next effect is nutrification. Your cell membranes, and you can see every single membrane of your body has, and let me just go to this slide so we can see it both. Every single cell in your body has a membrane with many different channels: sodium, potassium, iron, glucose channels, waste channels where all the waste products go out. And those channels, they slowly and surely with age clog up. And that's something we break open with PMF. All of a sudden we push out all those toxins from those membranes, from those cells, through that extreme effect of pulsing energy. They are pushed out. And all of a sudden your cells can take up nutrients: selenium, zinc, iron, iodine, copper, you know, all of those. And let me just pull the slide in again that you can see it. These are all the minerals that the cell need to replicate, to work properly, to have ATP production, to have energy, DNA repair, all of that. And you can see on the big slide here that when we have a deficiencies of different iodine, for example here, or phosphorus, that they all indicate high levels of heavy metals. And I will show that in a moment. So as soon as we clear those channels, that's when we also open up those nutrient pathways that they can actually be absorbed. A lot of people take supplements, and what happens to those supplements? They poo them into the toilet. Most of it is not even absorbed. And that's where PMF increases absorption rate dramatically. Is that cool? Is that what we want? Yes. So let's go to the next slide and have a look. Oxygenate with PMF. And I'll pull the slide in very short. You can see here blood before the PMF treatment and blood after the PMF treatment. And you remember the video down here with Dr. Saupe in Germany, which was quite famous because we demonstrated the PMF machine with him, and we had one treatment with Gladys, and he was so astounded from 5-minute treatment how the blood actually moved and looked, and how it was full on transformed from before and after. And the effects were so significant that this video went viral. Everybody was talking about it. So this is really great. So what happens when we energize our blood, our red blood cells? It's the hemoglobin, the red color, is charged. The cell formation all of a sudden opens up, and they can carry with that added charge more oxygen, which every single cell in your body needs to produce ATP, energy. Now, all of a sudden, they carry more oxygen, they take it to everywhere in the body, and then you go in energy levels up. You remember the first slide with those ladies that I showed you, the elderly, the retirement home? That's what happens. You have more energy, you have more oxygen utilization, you have more detoxification, nutrients are taken up, and that's pretty much it. So, and that brings us to the last one, detoxification. See, that's the 4 effects. And if you understand that those 4 effects are underlying every single disease, then you don't need to worry about glaucoma or ALS or whatever. It's always helping to all of those diseases because of those 4 effects. Okay, I showed you before again, we have the sodium, potassium, glucose, water channels, all of them. Oxygen dogs on, is transported into the cell. In the cell we have then the Krebs cycle, ATP production. So we need those membranes to be placid, open, to take in the oxygen. And that's what we try to do. So when you have a cell that has a negative charge, is not activated, but is, tired and exhausted and inflamed and toxic and can't take in nutrients, and oh my God, what do I do today? I'm so tired, I don't want to work. That's pretty much the same in small as you feel in big. So now we put that energy in, we clear all those channels, and all of a sudden you have detox all the toxins that are blocking those cells flushed out. And I have a next slide which makes that a little bit more clear. Let me pull this in. You can see here, the red particles are toxins. Now they can be in the plasma, they can be in the blood, they can be dogging onto the cell, or they can be intracellular, as you see up here in the top one. Now that is where those toxins, those heavy metal particles are. The most dangerous are when they are inside the cell. Now the big problem here is those cells, those toxins, they block certain receptors. And those membrane receptors are usually used for minerals like iron, zinc, magnesium, copper, manganese, and they block those, and then as soon as they sit there, none of the nutrients can get in. And this is really crucial. You have the heavy metal sitting on that membrane and blocks the nutrients from going in. And because it's charged, negative charge, to a cell which is not vibrant, it docks on and it sits there. Now if it goes in, it destroys your cell, which brings on mutations. What are mutations? First of all, inflammation, then a lack of production of ATP production, and in the worst case scenario, cancer cells. So those heavy metals inside the cell is something we need to destroy the whole cell. If it's docked onto the cell, we need to get rid of it and catch it in the plasma. And that's what we try to do with PMF. Okay, now let's look here very short. You have toxins blocking channels, toxins outside, and now we go in and pulse with PMF and push them free. Now they're outside in the plasma. And that's what a lot of people realize when they do PMF. They feel tired and exhausted and slightly nauseated, and it's like a heavy workout. What happens in that instance? And this is really crucial. You have those toxins released, and what happens to them? They dock back on, or to another cell, or they relocate in the body and go to another organ, and then they block all the cells there. This is not what we want, right? We don't want to just move toxins around from one place to another. We want to get rid of them. And that is what we do with PMF and binders. See, a lot of people always say, Marcus, why do you so insist on binders? Binders are those long chain molecules that enclose heavy metals so they can't be reabsorbed, they can't be dogging onto cells, and then they are eliminated via sweat, urine, and poo. That's how they go out of the body. So the more binders I have in my body prior to starting PMF, the more I will have the effect of cleansing and healing. And that's why we always say, if you order a device like this, don't get it and start treating yourself. I won't turn it on. It's making such a big duck, duck, duck. It just irritates. But if you do that and then you get nauseated and sick, well, then you defeat the purpose. So what we want you to do, as soon as you've ordered the device, order binders. And I'll talk about them in a moment. And they then absorb all those toxins that are flushed out. And you do that 3, 4, 5 days. And you don't just take one and that's the best. You take a variety of them. Take one, then a few days later the next, and vary them. You know, clay is very beautiful, edible clay. Then you have modified citrus pectin. You have the ACZ Nano, which is a cellular zeolite. And there's many chelation products that you can use. We actually fell in love with, or Sabrina fell in love with, the Quicksilver Scientific, the Ultra Binder. And you just type in trulyheal.com/binder, and it will take you to the page where you learn more about it. And this is a very gentle product, but it's so versatile, so effective for so many different heavy metals that it really works. And this is what you want to prime your body with at least 3, 4, 5, 6 days prior to starting PMF. And then you do the pulses, push out all the toxins, and what happens then? You have immediately a hold on those toxins. You know, think about your dental area and you just do a dental treatment. First of all, there's lots of toxins from the bacteria, from the dead bacteria and the live bacteria, the neurotoxins that they produce. Now, all of a sudden you flush them out into your bloodstream. What binds them? You had mercury particles in your mouth. You know, even removed 10 years ago, there's still mercury in your gum, there's still mercury in your bone, and that needs to be bound. So prime with binders, and then start the treatment, and then you detoxify in a very, very heavy and massive way. And that's what we want, right? So let me just pull in the whole thing again and look at what happens once, no, we don't want to call now, what happens when we have the detox and we have them bound, and then we would take in nutrients. And that's when your supplementation all of a sudden works. That's when your levels of deficiencies start to equilibrate. How cool is that? So it's a very simple thing. And then there is another very important factor that you need to address. When you do PMF, you always want to drink. This is an electromagnetic treatment. So the conductive area in your body that carries those magnetic waves is your electrolytes and your minerals in your system, and that's why some people twitch very badly and need it on level 1 or 2, while other people who have less conductivity, they might not feel it as strong. So drink, add electrolytes to your water, and a little bit of salt would be just enough. And you put that in and you drink that prior, during and after the treatment, because water is the solution to pollution. We want to flush out those toxins, and that's why this is a very, very important treatment to not forget. And that brings us to the last point that I wanted to talk about. A lot of people talk about those oscillating PMF. What frequency do you use, Marcus? Does that device have a certain frequency? We don't rely on frequencies. We actually don't care about frequencies, because that device is so powerful that it rattles all cells at the same time. Whereas if you have one of those home devices like the IMRS, the Curaton, the Beamer, they are, well, most of them multi-level marketing products that are built up, in effectivity, but they're very, very gentle. That you use it for 2 weeks to feel the results. They are very, very soft in their effects. I'm not saying they don't work. They just work a lot slower and a lot less intense than what we want. And that's why clinics use ringer devices. They have a lot of patients go through and they would like to have fast and immediate results. Whereas if you do it at home and you do it every day, well, you can wait for those 2 weeks until your results settle in. And that's fine. But they work on frequencies. You have one tuning fork and another. Now, if this is a tuning fork going like beam, and this is one boom, then that one, if you resonate it, when you swing it, won't activate this. Now, this is your body cell. So I need here many different frequencies to resonate with all the different cells in my body. And that's why all of those programs start out with 2, 7, 10, 15, 30, they go through all the range, and you need to have it in one location or the whole body for at least half an hour as it goes through in 3-minute intervals or 4-minute intervals through the different frequencies. And then 3 minutes of those half hour will have an effect on that particular problem that you want to treat. And that's why it's a lot slower. Now, if we go to a ringer device, it's like having all those belts, all those little cells, and you hit them with one big hit. And let's face it, this is a very, very big hit. Where is this plugged in? Not at all. So where is this plugged in? Not at all. I have the paddle plugged in. And I would like to show you the butterfly very short, because this is the most intense of all. So I only turn on alternative, and I only use this one for 5 minutes. And you can see this here is now pulsing when I hold it to the microphone. And this is now banging every single cell it can reach. And the distance is pretty obvious. And this is something, again, you have, let me just put this to my microphone so that you can hear the speaker. If I have it here, you don't hear any extra bang. The closer I get, you hear that little speaker really clicking very loud. So you can see with distance, it diminishes. So if I have someone, and this is another question that we always have with pacemaker and with implants or with hearing aids or something. You know, if you treat their knee, that's fine. That's far enough away. If you treat their heart and they have a pacemaker, you don't want to come close to their pacemaker because that's too much of an impulse. Check with the doctor first. Some of those pacemakers are radio proof, they are transmission and electromagnetic wave proof, but not all. So stay away from that, keep it far enough away. That distance would be fine, but then you only treat their feet or their sacral or their body, the lower body part, and stay away from the heart. This is the electromagnetic field that pulses out from that coil in a very, very intense way. So always be careful. It's also important to keep your mobile phone or your radio or anything you use, your hearing aids, your credit cards, your keys for the car, you know, they cost $1,000 for a certain car when you need to replace that, and all fine electronic. This is loud. All fine electronic blows. So keep it away, don't use it, and that will make a big difference. All right? I think we've got everything we wanted to say about PMF. And now let's look very shortly at the device, because I believe this is something that bridges. The DCM 3990 is a fantastic device for home use. It is like one half of that device. And it produces enough power for everyone at home to have very fast, very immediate results. Super detoxification, very fast, and also the nutrient uptake, energy increase, bone density, really, really powerful because of that extreme ringer effect. So if you just use it for you at home, it's fine. If you would like to have that on steroids so that you can use two people at the same time or yourself with two different locations and reduce the treatment time, then the DCM is great. For clinics, I really believe this is the ultimate. See, if I go and have a whole body treatment here with my pad, and I just turn it on once more, I put it on simultaneous and 5 minutes, and I bring it up, and I put this just purely on my liver. And I told you the paddle or the butterfly is the most intense. And I put that onto my liver, and I have, while I do that, a whole body treatment with my shoulders and my neck and my sacral area being recharged. So I box in from behind and from the front. This is a very, very effective detox treatment, which then also supports the liver, which needs to deal with all those toxins. So that would be great. If you want to treat your pancreas, if you have diabetic problems, very, very effective. You can do that while you have a full body treatment. So go away from those all night long radiation magnetic fields and treat yourself for hours, which you need to have here a 10-minute treatment with the same effects. So for clinics, if you have a lot of clients go through, have them set up with this, treat while they have a full body treatment, their shoulder as well, so that the pain goes away, but give them a full body treatment with 2 applicators and you're set. And that's why I believe this machine is a huge advantage. And when you feel it, it's hard to describe. In my situation here, it's very hard to describe the effects, but it feels a lot more intense if it comes from 2 sides. If you do a butterfly, you know, it's from 2 sides. But if you have from the back and from the front, your whole area here, it really feels a lot more powerful. And that's why for a clinic where you want people to walk out and say, wow, that was really great. And I feel, and my shoulders and everything is so much better. That's what you get with this double device. It is really a huge advantage. And now let me just go back to my overview screen and give you what I promised, the coupon code. Now I told you this is for those who are educated. Don't ask me a million questions on the phone. You're still welcome to call. You will find on top of Truly Heal or healthy2be.com, you will find our phone number. The phone number rings directly to me and I answer your questions. But because I have so many videos and so much training, I would like you to watch that first. Check through, go through the PMF expert training, go through the webinar. or through this video. And once you have then still questions, it's easier to answer them instead of going through the whole lot and explain the whole reason for PMF over and over again. And that's why, for those who are educated, PMF 10, coupon code Facebook-PMF-10. And that is how you get your 10% discount on all PMF devices, whether you want to buy the DCM, the small one, this intermediate, or the very big one, the 20,000 Gauss device, the PMT Digital or PMT 120, which has made PMF so famous. All of them 10% discount because they all work on the same principles. And now I hope I find the video and all of your questions. And if not, I would like my son, Benjamin, to give me a call and tell me, Dad, these are the questions. I hope I can find it. And so far I was not successful. Maybe it's under videos. See all, Truly Heal Live webinar. And we have, see, I should have done this a long time ago. All right, that's my Facebook video about ozone. And we had that already. So where's the new one? Oh my God, this is hopeless. Can somebody call me and tell me the questions? I would really appreciate that. It would make my life a lot easier. Let me just go back to home. On the other side, we have 20 minutes left to fill the hour. So is there anybody there that could give me a call and tell me? Oh, I found it. I found it. Deborah is calling. Thank you so much. Accept. Hello, Deborah.
Hello.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't find the questions. Do you have any questions underneath?
Yes. So what is the price of this device?
Oh, I would need to look that up. I think it was $13,000 US. And if you want the pad with it, something around the 14, but that's, it's on the website. And the website you find, trulyheal.com/clinic duo. And that's where you find the device. And then you subtract from that the coupon code Facebook PMF-10, and that will reduce it. It's more or less just double. If you look at the DCM 3,990, that is exactly 2 devices of those, and that's the price. So it's more or less double. Okay, next question.
Should I do the PMF 25 minutes every day?
Yes, it is. Okay, if you feel nauseated, toxic, challenged by the treatment, reduce it. Reduce the power setting, leave it at 1 and 2. Start out very, very gentle, take enough binders, and slowly build up your resilience, your constitution. Recharge your cells slowly. Overcharging has no meaning, so you want to do it gentle and slowly. If you feel great, if your energy levels increase, if your toxins flush out, you might smell very badly. A lot of people who start using PMF, they all of a sudden start stinking, smelling, sweat, poo, everything is expelled. And that is a sign of a very effective treatment. So don't worry about that, but you need to build that up gently and slowly. A lot of people say when you do too fast and too intense your detox programs, it actually is counterproductive because your body can't get rid of it. So do it gentle and slowly, and then you can build up to 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. See, I don't have those reactions anymore, but I had in the beginning very badly, so you don't want to overdo it. Next question. No, you start 4 days before. See, binders are absorbed into your system. They need to go through the blood. They need to, from your gut into the blood, from the blood into the cell, into the plasma. It takes a few days for your body to get primed. That's why when you order a device, you start taking the binders at the same time and really build up more and more your resilience, your binder status, that when you have your detoxification, that start the treatment and flush out those toxins, that they're immediately caught.
If this device is purchased, how do we learn to use it?
Okay, there is instructions. You know, I always say this is not rocket science. There's instructions on how to turn it on. There's a warranty card that comes with it. I forgot to mention, it actually comes with a very beautiful little pouch, a bag, which just fits the mag pad, you know, the pad that I'm leaning against. And in the front, you have then a bag for the device, and inside you put all your applicators. So it's very nice if you go traveling, you take it with you. But, oopsala, that was no good. So when you get the device, you would follow the instructions, but more or less, it's pretty simple. You plug it into power. I've done that here behind. You turn the device on, and then all you need to do is, and you start out with one applicator, whichever you want, and set that up, press 5 minutes, and now it ticks on the lowest setting, and that's it. See, there's no challenge in using a PMF device. And that's now systemic, my whole back, my whole shoulders, my lungs, my stomach, my kidneys, my adrenals, my sacral, everything at once. Now, if I feel that I don't get nauseated and I like it a bit more zing, I go to level 2. Really beautiful. You can do that at night, like I said, when you watch TV. You can do it in the morning, in bed, when you wake up, and that's it. Now, if you want to use a second device, you plug it in, and then you add your 5 minutes there and the intensity that you want. How do we say that? PMF is the simplest treatment in the world because you can't make any mistakes. The only mistake, and let me just clarify that once more, the only mistake that you can make, too much, too intense, without priming the body with binders. That's really the main challenge that you can do. And the second one, if you have it too strong, too powerful, and you have it on your head. You know, a lot of people, and this was not so much with these devices, but with the old devices, when you turned them up, they were on up. And then you put the device on, switched it on, and bang, you had the full impact. These devices always start when you turn them on at the lowest setting, so you're safe. And that's why don't stress, you just turn on 5 minutes, this one is not plugged in, this one on 5 minutes, and then it starts pulsing, and you move it to where you need it. The closer to an inflamed area, the closer to an infected area, the closer to a problem area, the better it is. So if you have knee problems, use it over your knee. But it's still a systemic treatment because the blood that flows by is still recharged and recharges your whole body. Next question.
Will this video be rebroadcasted somewhere?
Yes, I will put it straight away. As soon as we're finished now, I will put it underneath the video and in the shop where the product is. trulyheal.com/clinic duo. I will put that video so that you have all the explanation, all the information about the device. You see how it works, and I will put it into a blog post as well.
Is it safe to use the PMF-10 on a person with heart disease, a too fast heart rate or a too slow heart rate?
Normally PMF balances out. So if you have arrhythmia, if you have fluctuating pulse, if you have too high, it balances out. But like I said before, start always on the lowest setting. Don't overdo it. Don't stress the body. This is not like more helps more, fast helps more, and intense helps more. It's more like getting the body used to it. Why do you have arrhythmia? Why do you have a too high blood pressure? There's other reasons which we slowly can deal with PMF, but it's not something that you want to rush. You know, heart is really important. You don't want to stress it. Next question.
Do we take the binders for a longer time? Meaning, should I do the binders a few times a week?
Yes, I would say it's very wise if you buy a pack and you use it for let's say you start a detox program. See, on our website, and as soon as you go through the PMF expert training, you will find that there is a few studies that we had with Dr. Gordon, for example, and detox. It takes 2, 3, 4 months for your levels of toxins to come down, to flush them out, to bind them and excrete them. It's not a fast process, not overnight. So what you want to do is you get your self-modified citrus pectin, you get the Quicksilver Scientific, what was it? It was here, Quicksilver Scientific, or any of the other clay, modified clay, magnetic clay, and you take them and you take variations thereof, or one for a while and then the next for a while, because they bind to different heavy metals. They don't all absorb every heavy metal at full. So you want to prime with different ones, and you do that over the 3-month period where you do your detox. And it's very wise if you have a detox panel done and then you do your detox treatment for 2 or 3 months with daily PMF, with daily binders, and then you check at the end, you will find that, like Dr. Gordon did, 50 people and 25 with and 25 without PMF, that the PMF group had detoxified a lot faster, a lot more effective, and in a lot wider array and range of toxins.
So another question was, does it matter what binders we take?
It does matter. It is really important. Like I said, not all binders work for all toxins the same. You might have a clay that works for certain mercury, and it's like, I think magnetic LLC, magnetic clay, they have certain clays that are focusing on arsenic or on lead or on mercury. So it really has its attributes. What is your toxicity? Do you have a lot of cadmium, or have you been chewing, your lipstick and you're full with lead? There's so many different things. Do you have aluminum? You used for years aluminum deodorants. What is your toxic level? Which binder works best? And that's why Zeolite ACZ Nano Zeolite spray is really great. That Quicksilver Scientific detox program is really great. And that will then bind all those different toxins that are related. So don't rely on one and say that's it.
Since you've been using PMF at high levels for so long, do you take binders daily?
Okay, if you ask me those questions, that's not good. I'm not diligent and I'm pretty on-off. Like I do things. Most of the time I have a device and it's sold in 2 weeks or in 2 days. And then I have none for a while. So I'm not the really perfect person to ask. Most people who do it, they will keep taking their binders as they do the treatment until their toxic levels have come down. Because let's face it, pushing toxins out, okay, I can answer this question quite well. I had a high level of mercury toxicity. And then I took chelation and binders and everything, and my levels came down. Then I stopped, and then I went and had another test done a year later, and my levels were all back up. And the doctor said it's very logical, Marcus. You have superficial tissue, then you have deep-seated toxins, and then you have toxins sitting in your bones. There's toxins on many, many different levels. If you clear the outer layers, then that's what we see in your test results. But as soon as you stop detoxifying, then those deeper levels push back out and they release the toxins into the outer layers. And that's why detoxification is usually, if you ask many of the practitioners, a 2-year program. It's not a one-off. And the longer you take your binders, the longer you will have those elimination processes happening.
Would it be good for someone fighting cancer with chemo?
Yeah. Yes. Again, start gently. Your body is polluted, poisoned, and there is many pathways, and many of the fast replicating cells are jeopardized. They are attacked by the same chemotherapy that attacks your fast dividing cancer cells. So the detox process is handicapped and challenged. So you want to do it very gentle. Plenty of binders and then start on low levels and do the treatment while you do it. Dr. Rau in Switzerland, this is where we more or less learned really the integrated form of PMF treatment. They use it daily over the tumor directly to weaken the tumor cells. And as they do the detox program and all the IV treatments to break down the tumor, then that immune system that is activated through PMF, the oxygen uptake that penetrates into the tumor to help with apoptosis, or the redifferentiation is massively improved. And that's why they do it on a daily basis in the morning before the patient has any other treatments. So before you have chemo, before you have radiation, before you have surgery, before you have hypothermia, you would use PMF to give the body the energy it needs to deal with the treatment. So yes, you do, but you do it in a gentle form and don't overdo, because if you flush out too many toxins at once, you might have a Herxheimer reaction. No more questions?
No, that's
That's
it.
it? Yahoo! And we're exactly in 1 hour, which is the goal. Thank you so much for attending. No, do you not? Thank you so much for attending. Head over to, oh God, right at the end, last slide. Here we go. trulyheal.com, Clinic Duo. Type that in and you will find, or in the shop, you just go into trulyheal.com, up on top into the shop to PMF, and you will find the Clinic Duo. I will take, this device arrived yesterday, so a lot of people saw it already, and then it was given out, and then it was pulled back, and then it was delayed in production, and I always wait until I have a stable version. So mine arrived last night, and that's why we haven't put pictures on the website. That will all happen today. And then you can see all the images, close-ups of all the power settings and everything, plus this video on that page. And if you would like to purchase PMF Facebook minus PMF minus 10%. And you can try 15, 20. A gentleman called me and said, Marcus, I tried from 5 till 50 and there is no other one that works. Yes, that's true. We only have maximum 10% discount for educated clients. So make use of it while this promotion is on. Thank you so much and see you soon.